On a bright morning, a young woman trudged through the arid desert, the heavy stone strapped tightly to her back, weighing her down. Her clothes were simple, her feet bare against the burning sand, but the true burden she carried was not the heat or the desert itself. It was the stone, growing heavier with every step. Despite the weight, she pressed on, weary yet determined. She had no idea why she carried the stone. It just felt like something she had to do. As she trudged along, she passed by other travelers. A man whistled as he walked freely, carrying only a small sack over his shoulder. A woman skipped across the sand, her arms light and carefree. Both smiled at her, but when they saw the stone, their expressions faltered for a moment before they continued on their way. She couldn't understand why they moved so easily. Why couldn't she be like them? Why couldn't she just let go of the stone? After days of walking, the woman reached the foot of a towering mountain. The mountain's peak was hidden behind clouds, but the path ahead seemed to promise a way out. Her legs ached, her breath came in short gasps, but she continued to climb, the weight of the stone pulling her down like an anchor. Hours passed, and the climb grew steeper. As the sun began to set, she reached a plateau. The stone had become unbearable, but she was too tired to care. Suddenly, she heard a voice. "Why are you carrying that weight?" it asked. She turned to see an old man sitting by a small fire. Without thinking, she replied, "It's all I've known. I've been carrying it for as long as I can remember. It's the only way forward." The old man smiled gently. "You don't have to carry it," he said, his voice soft but wise. "The weight is not in the stone. It's in your belief that you need it. Let go and you will be free." The woman stared at the stone. It had become part of her, an extension of her body, of her thoughts. But the old man's words echoed in her mind. She knelt down, trembling, and slowly untied the straps that held the stone to her back. As she released it, the stone rolled away, and an overwhelming sense of lightness washed over her. For the first time, she stood tall without the burden. The weight had been her own fear of release all along. She took a deep breath, looking up at the mountain's peak. With a new sense of clarity, she began her ascent once more, now walking freely, no longer carrying a weight that had never truly belonged to her.